All right, so yesterday at around 7, 6, I don't know, Central Time, Israel basically attacked Iran. They sent fighter jets or bombers to Tehran, and that's very bad. We don't like that, dude. And here's the thing, bro. Israel is such a bully. They themselves can't fight Iran, but they want us, America. They want us to fight Iran. They want all of our money, all the work we put in, we work, we pay taxes. They want the taxes from our paycheck to basically finance their foreign policy agenda, which is essentially to destabilize all of these areas and allow for Israel to expand. Because Israel, well, it's an apartheid state, obviously, but it's like an expansionist state. They're trying to expand their territory because they're essentially Israel is essentially like Nazi Germany. That's effectively what it is. But dude, I was listening to Fox News, bro. Dude, Fox News is such fucking propaganda, bro. It's funny because Trump, he's claiming to be like anti-neocon. And for those who don't know, neocons are basically, I don't know what the fuck a neocon is, but it's essentially people who support war. So whenever someone calls someone a neocon, that means they support war. Every Republican president has been a neocon. Trump is obviously a fucking neocon. He pretends to not be a neocon, yet he still shills for Israel. He still sucks Israel's dick, man. Bush was a neocon, because the whole Iraq war and all that shit. The other Bush was a neocon. Reagan was a neocon. They're all neocons, dude. It goes back even further. Nixon was a huge neocon. Eisenhower was a fucking neocon, and Eisenhower was like, oh, here, let me pull that video up of him. At his farewell, he's like, oh, we must be wary of the Jewish influence over our congressional whatever. He doesn't say Jewish, but that's what's implied.
Violence and frustration. The record of many decades past proportion.
It's funny, dude. He's essentially saying the same shit Washington says. Like, be wary of foreign influence. You know what foreign influence is? This is foreign influence, bro. Our government is bought and paid for by these foreign Jews who, I say Jew, I don't mean that negatively. Israeli, that's when I say Jew. I'm not trying to sound anti-Semitic, but dude, our government is bought and paid for by these people who are these shady billionaires. People like, gosh, oh my god, Miriam Adelson. Dude, when did Google add this AI mode? I've never seen this before. That's fucking weird. This bitch right here, dude. This is who controls our government, is these shady fucking billionaire people who happen to be Jewish. Alright, they happen to be Jewish. What a coincidence. You're not allowed to talk about it. But Eisenhower, he was a neocon like Trump, but he pretends, oh, we must protect against the Jewish influence in our government. But anyways, Fox News is absolute propaganda. I'm not gonna try to rant. Just watch this video, dude.
We support this line in there. Well, Politico says a Trump official told Dasha, one of their reporters, that the White House drove the message put out by Rubio, an ardent foreign policy hawk. And behind the scenes, there was a MAGA versus neocon debate that unfolded over the wording of the statement and the lead up to the release. So that debate is very much alive and well politically and very much within the walls of the White House.
Without question. And all the experts that I've interviewed on this, honestly,
Bro, listen to what this bitch says, dude. Listen to this.
I've spoken to Sean Hannity about it. I've spoken to Victor Davis Hanson about it. Numerous individuals and Coulter I've spoken to about it. And you'll hear, like, listen, we America, we want to focus on us. We don't want to be sending hundreds of billions of dollars to fight somebody else's war. You know, we're fighting for an ideology that they are not in alignment with. You know, we left 90% of them still want Sharia law, and on and on and on. But I don't believe that's what's happening here. And that's my point. I don't think this is someone else's war or Israel's war, as far as I can tell. So I think that gave them numerous off-ramps.
He did.
And they did not take it. I think this is a clear threat to America. I don't think this is someone else's war. And again, I come back to, I don't see the alternative personally.
You don't see the alternative, like what? To just admit?
You know, Emily, one for this.
Dude, these people just seething from the mouth, like, I need war. Let's expand Israel's borders.
President Trump did his first international trip to the Middle East. He met with a lot of Arab countries. And what we've noticed is there's been a lot of silence from other Arab countries. No one's only that down, not a lot.
In these leading up years to Trump's sort of stated approach, right? The investment.
Dude, look at this bitch right here. What's her name? Emily Compagno. I don't want to rant. I don't want to sidetrack on that. I'll make a separate video about her. She's interesting, though. And the reason she's interesting is she is young. She looks younger than what she looks like. She's born, so she's fucking old, but she looks young, and that's interesting. But it's irrelevant. I'm sorry.
That we're not going to leave our blood and treasure anymore, but we're going to have these coordinated, co-equal investments. That was the way peace. And we learned that a lot of these countries, the entire time through the Biden administration as well, had been saying like, oh gosh, you know, and Israel's Abraham Accord, be happy to for peace so that our economic interests can thrive. Those that signed the Abraham Accord did stop having a tantrum. And I say that obviously with full respect to all lives that have been lost at the hands of these horrific terror organizations as proxies for the Islamic regime. So I say, though, too, that as we talk about, you know, is it good cop? How deep does the coordination go between Israel and the United States, other than being our #1 and top ally? I think what we will discover and find out is that if Iran indeed takes one of those off-ramps, then we will learn whether Israel indeed then gets off the gas pedal, right? And if they do, then we know that this is a coordinated and a symbiotic, equally yoked. But if not, they're like, we don't care what's happening, we're still going for it, then that might reveal a level of either friction or different perspectives going into it.
Yeah, and the Israeli ambassador is willing to Dana, hey, I'd be open to being part of those negotiations and talking about it. So interesting. Kind of leading into the Trump strategy there.
Hey, everyone, I'm Emily Compagno.
Oh my god. And so that bitch right, I was trying to find more. It's so juicy. I love it whenever Fox News just fails their neocon mentality to shit, but Mark Bro.
This is a magical tool and the most
God,
powerful
I
tool in the
fucking
world.
hate Mark Levin.
It is a true master key.
He's literally just Ben Shapiro. That's literally what he is. Oh, this is a new one. I haven't seen this one.
And the Israelis don't have enough interceptor missiles to stop them all. And as they keep building them and building with the help of the communist Chinese,
Dude, why the fuck do we give a why do we have to care about Israel? Why do we have to care? Like, I'm sick and tired of Israel. We must defend it. No, we don't, dude. No, we don't. We don't need to defend
them with fuel material.
But you have people like this dude right here who have, you know, is his loyalty to him? Is his loyalty to Vin's Stars and Stripes right here? Or is his loyalty to this flag? What is Mark Levin's loyalty to?
Israel said, we can't put up with this. In this war that's taking is more evidence why Israel was right. I would also add this. We're not seeing what's going on in Iran. We're hearing they're getting the hell pounded out of them. 200 jets. Can you imagine 200 fighter jets in the sky, moving back and forth, really at will, hitting these targets, hitting these centers? Benjamin Netanyahu truly is the Churchill of the Middle East, if not even more. And what he's doing is unbelievable and crucially important.
I'm trying to find.
I'm
trying to find where he talks about, because what Fox News is trying to do is they're trying to say oh, this isn't Israel's. This is America's fight. God, they have fucking Ben Shapiro, dude. Oh my god, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to manufacture consent. They're trying to propagate people. You go to anywhere in Oklahoma and you see a bunch of fucking people. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking when you go to Oklahoma, you know what I'm talking about. Those types of news that they're like, oh yeah, Israel, yeah.
Something earlier that's is fighting a war for the people who believe in liberty, for the West. Whether people in the West know
they're trying to
what or understand it or not, and illegal aliens and criminal forth, that for enough 300,000, we talk about the number of military personnel, which is substantial. But we actually have American citizens there, which is substantial.
Yep. There it is. Oh, there's American citizens in Israel. Those American citizens get attacked while in Israel. American soldiers should therefore attack the people who attack the American citizens in Israel. Here's the thing, bro. There's no such thing as American citizens in Israel. If you are American and you go to Israel, you're no longer American. You're a traitor. Can't this whole bullshit with dual citizenship. It's false. Who's that bitch here who fucking? I have zero sympathy. All right, zero fucking sympathy. And she's not American. She's German. But the thing is, Israelis, almost all of them are dual citizens. Which the fact that dual citizenship even exists is retarded. But they're dual citizens, and she's partying in occupied, and the Palestinians, rightfully so. I mean, the Palestinians have been under 80 years, roughly, something like 75 years. They've been under occupation, genocidal occupation. You want to talk about the French resistance, bro? You know how long the French were? They were barely occupied, and they were barely occupied for 5 years. They were called terrorists. I don't think these people were called terrorists. Of course they were. But they were also called, we know them today as freedom fighters, and that's exactly what Hamas, I should be careful with what I say here. Hamas is bad. Hamas is bad. Is nothing like the French resistance. I am totally not being sarcastic. Okay? But, yeah, anyways. Mark Levy here is just trying to say, like, oh, there's Americans in Israel. So those Americans are attacked by Iran. That's an attack on America.
Which is substantial too. So we share our Judeo-Christian faiths. We share our belief in democracy. We share our love of life. The enemy shares.
Thank you. And Trump, not that diddle. I know the Taliban and
Professional people.
had friendly relation. Communist people are
Love of life, substantial too. 300,000. We talk about we're praying for the state of Israel, the people of Israel. You know, you have over 100,000 Americans. At like 300,000. We talk about the number of military personnel, which is substantial. But we actually have American citizens there, which is substantial too. So we share our Judeo.
But, yeah, Fox News is full of groveling to just Israel. Like, they're not... Dude, Fox is not, like, it's not a unbiased news source. Obviously, Israel neocon propaganda. And, of course, they throw the bone to, like, American men like me with, like, transgender shit or, like, you know, all that. Try to throw us a bone to, like, get hooked. But in reality, all they're doing is feeding us with this fucking pro-Israel propaganda bullshit. Hold up. Oh, this is juicy. Look, I'm making these 3 questions on Israel, or on Iran-Israel conflict. Bro, I so want to see what fucking Shandy's gonna say here.
To the ground in Tel Aviv, just a moment. But first, I want everybody watching tonight, I want you to take a step back. I want you to ask yourself a simple, basic, fundamental question. In the last decade plus, as I was just talking to Kevin Corke about, this tiny little country about the size of New Jersey, Israel, has been targeted by tens of thousands of rockets and missiles and drones from Iran and Iranian proxies. Iran is the one providing the weaponry. They're the #1 state sponsor of terror. They provide the weaponry to Hamas. They helped plan the October 7th attack. The Quds forces, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards forces. They help Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad out of Lebanon in the north, the Houthi rebels, and many others. Ask yourself, as an American, ask yourself a simple question. How many missiles would it take from a foreign country and their proxies that would be fired into the USA, into our country, killing American citizens, terrorizing American citizens, before you would want that country stopped? Would it be 1 missile threshold, 2 missiles, 100 missiles, 1,000, 10,000? You know, what would you expect American leaders to do? This country, the #1 state sponsor of terror, was, according to reports, a month to 6 months away from arming themselves with a nuclear weapon, as they have been firing these.
So he's clearly justifying it. I'm trying to see if he's going that we should fight in the war. I'm trying to find
tens of thousands of missiles throughout the years, and also the country pledging to wipe the U.S. like they have pledged.
There it is. There's how Iran wants to wipe. How Iran is America's enemy. That's what these neocon, these Zionist. I don't like using the word Zionist. I prefer neocon. That's what these neocons always bring up. It's like, oh, they're America's enemy. They're not Israel's enemy. They hate Israel. The reality is, Iran only hates America because we fund Israel. But what the neocons say is that Iran hates Israel because we fund Israel. And that's like, dude, you're so retarded. You're so retarded. Oh, my God. Anyways, I'm trying to
wipe the U.S. and Israel off the map repeatedly, chanting repeatedly, death to Israel, death to America. Now, I assume 90+ of you would want your government, you would want your country to defeat this clear and present danger. You would like to remove that cancer, that evil that exists in the world. Well, that is the exact real-life scenario that Israel is facing. According to estimates, enrichment levels now inside the Iranian nuclear facilities were 60%. To get to 90% weapons-grade level, where they can actually produce a weapon, that means their outbreak level, would mean they're about a month away from being armed with a nuclear weapon, according to some reports. I don't know for sure. I can only go by what I read, and the people.
Dude, how is this not so fucking similar to WMD, Iraq, all that bullshit? Like, I was too young. I was like thrilled when America invaded Iraq, but it's the same fucking premise that they have weapons of mass destruction. Like, I've seen, I wasn't alive back then, but I've seen news clips like this of people talking about it and talking about like weapons of mass destruction, and later on, it's like, there never were weapons of mass destruction. It's a fucking lie. And that's where the phrase Bush lied, people died came from.
People that I talk to, my sources, that have access to intelligence that I don't have. Even the IAEA announced that Iran violated the Non-Proliferation Treaty. They, too, have said they're very close to getting to weapons-grade enrichment. At the same time, they were stockpiling weapons, fortifying nuclear sites and military sites and assets like never before. And according to U.S. intelligence reported by Axios, they have, in recent months, been amassing over 2,000-plus ballistic missiles with warheads capable of carrying up to 4,000 pounds of explosives. That, to me, is Plan B, knowing that if the nuclear sites were ever targeted, they would overwhelm the Israelis' defense systems and missile defense systems, and that would be another way to wipe Israel off the map. Now, according to U.S. intelligence, they amassed all these thousands of ballistic missiles with warheads capable of carrying that amount of explosives. That's a clear and present danger. And that number was growing with a production, according to Axios yesterday, of 50 new ballistic missiles every month. My sources tell me that number is much higher. Their goal, produce enough missiles to overwhelm the Iron Dome, create a mass casualty event inside Israel, and ultimately Israel's destruction.
All right, real quickly. Let me show you Google Earth. All right, so the governments that have been overthrown like a few decades are the Syrian government, the Iraqi, and the Libyan government. And here's the thing, bro. Gaddafi, who was the leader of Libya, Assad, the leader of Syria, and Saddam Hussein, the leader of Iraq, they were all secular socialists. They're Muslim and all that shit, but they were secularists. They were not like Iran. Iran's a theocracy, dude. I don't support Iran. I don't like the regime. And it makes me mad, dude, that the fact that America helped the killing of Gaddafi and we assisted, the rebellion against Assad and we fucking invaded Iraq, literally. Israel, what the did Israel do? Nothing, bro. All these good dictators, these noble secular socialist dictators, and we overthrew them. And now you had ISIS here, and there's fucking slavery going on in Libya, literally. And that's what happens when you get rid of dictators like Gaddafi. But
that is their stated goal. Don't forget, this is the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism. They fund all of these terror groups. They helped orchestrate the October 7th attacks. They also further, fund Islamic Jihad and the Houthis and militia in Iraq and other militant groups responsible for attacks also against American soldiers and American civilians. This is a government.
There it is. There's to get America involved in the fucking war. They want another Iraq invasion, dude. And it's so funny because Trump, I remember in the debate, bro, hold up. Trump 2016 debate, Iraq war. It was funny because in the 2016 debate, George Bush's
200 hand knives to my dorm website to sell them. I'm Noah Rosen, founder and owner of Forged to Table Knives, working my way up through the culinary industry.
But so for context for this debate, yeah, Jeb, who was the front running man. Dude, I'm so glad Jeb Bush did not win. Oh my God. But Trump, he made this point about how
the war, he lied. He got us into the war with lies. Do you still believe President Bush should have been impeached?
First of all, I have to say,
dude, that is fucking based.
Do you still believe he got us into the war for the war? For those quote, what you meant by that, you said for the war. For the war, he lied. He got us war with lies. Do you still believe President Bush should be impeached?
First of all, I have to say, as a businessman, by the way, I'm a self-funder. I don't have to tell you. I get along with everybody, which is my obligation. The war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right?
Yeah, here he is,
now,
bro.
You can take it any...
Well, that's why we liked him, bro, because he was anti-war, whereas Hillary Clinton and Jeb Bush were war.
The way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember the announcement, when he announced the president, it took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Told him what to say. And he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake.
Dude, why do you bring up Iran? You should have brought up ISIS, dude. Jesus fuck, man.
Hey, so George Bush made a mistake. We didn't make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
Yeah, you get rid of good fucking dictators like Saddam Hussein, this fucking alpha male, Giga Chad. It's weird. He's the same age as my granddad. Dude, him and I were born the same day. That's so weird. But you get rid of Giga Chad, secular Middle Eastern dictators like Saddam Hussein, you get fucking ISIS, bro. God, I love him so much, bro. Dude, there's this epic video I saw of him, bro. Dude, there was this fucking epic YouTube. It was, there was who's that? There was some because he killed a woman and her child, and he was reacting to his sentencing. And hold up, boys versus I don't know if I can find it, dude. I know it's really cool short. Yeah, this one.
There is a big mistake.
It was similar to that, but it had better music and just a better overall video. But dude, I fucking love Saddam Hussein. We should have never done that.
He was a bad guy, really bad guy.
Anyways, enough of that. Yeah, it's here. Let's go back to this.
That the prison, they torture women. The subjugation of women is
Bait? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
unbelievable. You can get put in jail and beaten for wearing the wrong clothes. They execute people for being gay. Their phony legal system is based in Sharia law, and their official or unofficial motto, as I said, is death to Israel, death to America. But now their dream of building a nuclear bomb, as of last night, it is now officially over. So far, Israel successfully targeted over 100 sites, including missile batteries, air defense systems, airports, military installations, military leaders, nuclear facilities, the scientists who lead their nuclear program, and Israel's air campaign is only getting started. Now, of course, Iran could have prevented all of this. Personally, like the president, I wish that they did. According to President Trump, quote, 2 months ago, I gave Iran a 60-day ultimatum to make a deal. They should have done it. Today is day 61. I told them what to do. They just couldn't get there. Now they have a decision. To subscribe.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to say more about how we should get involved. Dude, I know they just uploaded a fucking video, bro. It's all, here it is. It's all Fox business. Dude, you're so fat. Why the fuck are you eating food, bro? Oh my god.
All right, with great pleasure, let's bring in Ben Shapiro, editor emeritus at the Daily Wire and host of the Ben Shapiro Show. Ben, thank you for this very much. So, Jim, Ben, again, stepping back for some perspective on this, is this
Okay, we need to deport Ben Shapiro to Israel because he is obviously more loyal to Israel than America. Okay, I'm gonna play it.
Is an Israeli attack incursion? Is this about stopping their nuclearization, slowing it, stopping it, or is this about regime change and the possibility of a free Iran down the road? How do you look at this, Ben Shapiro?
Well, I mean,
a free Iran? Dude, no, that's what Bush said. Oh my god! Like reliving history. What the fuck? Like 21 years after we're reliving this shit, dude. Like so obvious, man. God, I hate Ben Shapiro, man. I hate him, bro. Like what, dude? Nick Fuentes, bro. I don't like Nick Fuentes. I think he's kind of lame, but like that was pretty giga chat of him to hype mog Ben Shapiro that one time. Shapiro, Nick Fuentes. Like, look at this dude, bro. He's all tough and macho, little Ben. He's like, oh yeah, I'm tough. I wear my little hat. I'm tough. Cool. But you look at this right here, and he's like a little beta male, bro. Look at him, bro. Look at the beta male Ben, dude. Little beta male. Wife's a doctor. My wife's a doctor.
hey, he's
the fuck, bitch. Hey, he's with kid. Like, shut the fuck. I do not care. I do not care. Ben Shapiro's this. Here's the thing, dude. I'm not really like not in favor of government spending, but Shapiro's the same dude. It's like, oh, let's cut people off Medicare, or let's kick kids off Medicaid. And like, well, but it's like not my fucking like. Why should I didn't have sex. You had sex. You pay for your kids, you know? Which, to be fair, that's kind of accurate. Unless you're going to have a one-child policy system, yeah, like, you can't have socialism until you have regulations. They're gonna regulate shit like reproduction until you can have free healthcare and free food for them. But anyways, fuck Ben Shapiro, bro. What's he gonna say here?
Israelis have said, and I think that they are correct, that it's about ending the existential threat to the state of Israel. So what that would mean is permanently ending the Iranian nuclear capacity, defenestrating the military to the point where they're no longer a threat regionally against Israel. For folks who believe that this is going to touch off a regional war, it's important to recognize a regional war has been raging since October 7th, 2023, when Iran activated literally every terror.
Nope. A funny thing is, an interesting thing about this is, like, what's this dude's name? The NYC World Debate, Israel. What's is pro-Israel people...
With less than 2 weeks.
I don't know if I can find it without wasting too much time, but pro-Israel people claim that the fighting began on October 7th, whereas the anti-Israel people, they say like, no, it was just a war crime. The October 7th, that's what the Zoran Mandami dude says, like, oh, it's just a war crime. Which, I mean, yeah, I mean, it kind of was a war crime, but it's little like merchant hands. What he's trying to say is like, oh, this began on October 7th. Nothing happened October 7th. Nothing ever happened before October 7th. That's what they're going to frame this says.
Proxy in the region to attack Israel. Israel systematically destroyed each one's terror proxies from Hamas to Hezbollah, which is why it is currently flying sorties over Iranian airspace essentially unimpeded. And so Israel's goal here is to end the Iranian nuclear regime. Now, if that requires the defenestration toppling up...
Your dad's Jewish, your grandfather... Like, I get it, dude, but like, bro, take the hat off. Take the fucking small hat off. They're so stupid looking. Like, oh my god, I hate religion. I hate in religion, culture, cults, they're all the same thing. They're all morphed up into one. Hats off, bro. It's 2025.
But if Iran chooses to escalate by continuing to fire missiles into the heart of civilian populated areas of Israel, then obviously other targets are going to be on the table, and the Israelis have said as much.
I mean, I was going to ask Ben, is it wise for Israel to leave the Ayatollahs? Let's pinpoint, pinprick bombing capabilities, as we all know. And is it possible, no matter what happens, nuclearize or slow it down, as long as the mullahs are in power there and it's this police state and there's no freedom and so forth, it'll just be again and again. We might maybe buy another year or 2 or 3, but it'll keep coming back. That's the part of it that, and I'm not smart enough to know the answer, but that's the part that worries me, Ben.
An engineered regime change is extremely difficult, but Israel has certainly set the preconditions on the ground for the Iranian people to rise up. And Prime Minister Netanyahu this evening put out a message to the Iranian people, essentially asking them to do so. I think it's worth noting here that the Iranians shut down the internet, and they did that for a reason. That is because they do not want the Iranians getting outside information on what's happening in the country, and they certainly don't want the outside world to understand what's happening inside Iran, and they don't want Iranians coordinating with each other at all. This is the weakest the Iranian revolutionary regime has been since its inception in 1979. They've never been more vulnerable. No one is interested, for example, in a large-scale use of ground troops. What that means, the Iranian people, if the regime is going to be tough, they're going to have to do that themselves. Whether Israel goes after the Ayatollahs, which, again, that may be on the table if Iran continues to escalate, or whether that comes from internally the Iranian people themselves, obviously be better for the region if the
Time for operators.
Well, 100%. A number of people on the ground are on attack. Very much huge because it was President Trump who stood. They wanted to.
Okay, I don't think he's gonna talk about America.
The dictator of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, posted this. The title is, "Why must the Zionist regime, that's Israel, be eliminated from the region?" So here you have, is that is not only.
Okay, I'm gonna finish this video up, but there's more Fox News videos about it. I'm too lazy to look into it and shit, but here's another one. This is Trump wants amid Israel-Iran conflict, okay?
Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's survival. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program.
This is so fucking weird, bro. This is so weird. This is so weird. Notice how it's in English, because they want on us, and they're trying to talk to us to justify their actions, to justify why we must continue voting for their politicians who receive billions of dollars from their donors, so that we can continue giving them billions of dollars of our tax money from our paycheck every day. Every time you look at your paycheck and you see deductions, that's just the fucking Israel.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America.
There's the manufactured consent right there.
Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan. Never again.
It's to an American audience. They're trying to brainwash the fucking idiots like. They're trying to brainwash. No, I'm trying to find an image of Republican. Your typical. Here it is. They're trying to brainwash idiots like that. Idiots like these people. They're trying to brainwash them to. That's what they're trying to do.
Again is now. Today, learn the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them.
I mean, now is Christian Whiten, former senior advisor at the State Department under Bush 43 and Trump, Ambassador Nathan Sale, former coordinator for counterterrorism under Trump. Mr. Ambassador, let's start with you. What would be the catalyst for the United States to get more involved?
Bro, I thought I was gonna have to hunt around. Just starts it right off the bat with what I wanted her to say, or what I would say, because I know this is what they're trying to do. This is what Fox News is trying to do. They're trying to brainwash Americans.
We're obviously offering support. We have our ships in the region. And what would that response look like?
Well, Laura, the United States is playing a supporting role right now for Israel. We're helping them take down as many of these incoming munitions as possible. But this is a war between Israel and Iran, with the United States playing a supporting role, and we want to keep it that way. President Trump has been very clear. He wants to preserve a path to a negotiated settlement. I don't see the United States deciding to intervene on our own. Now, what could change the calculus is if Iran does something really stupid and decides to start taking shots at American diplomats or American soldiers in the region. The Supreme Leader would have to be catastrophically dumb to make a decision like that, because Donald Trump is not going to sit idly by while the Islamic Republic of Iran is taking shots at our people.
The question for most people who have been observing this nightmare in Iran and getting closer and closer to nuclear capabilities, Christian, is how much will this attack by Israel, multiple attacks, how much will it have degraded Iran's capabilities? Obviously the leadership, military leadership, but the actual nuts and bolts of its nuclear program. What are your thoughts tonight? Mr. Ambassador, former coordinator for counterterrorism under Trump. Mr. Ambassador, let's start with you. Coordinator for counterterrorism under Trump 43 and Trump. Now is Christian Whiten, former senior advisor at the State Department under Bush 4.
I was not, dude. I had myself muted. Fuck. That's retarded. Christian Whiten. What's this dude's name? Just the fucking... Holy shit, dude. Let me just take a second to point out how Giga Chad Pete Hegseth looks. Like, I don't support Pete Hegseth or whatever, but like, he looks like an absolute fucking Giga Chad right here. He's just a Giga Chad. But, what this dude fucking says.
Destroying single nuclear reactors, much more diffuse, a lot more. That's why the United States may have to get involved. We are essentially at war with Iran. Killed a bunch of Americans. Their proxies did in Israel. We're shooting down their missiles right now. And hopefully Israel has the targeting capabilities, the persistence to get through this and do everything they need to do to really destroy all of the centrifuges, go after all of the engineers, all the people involved in this, to really set back this program indefinitely. But if they can't do it alone, I think we need to realize the United States, I mean, Iran thinks they've been fighting us since 1979. It might be time we get around to recognizing that fact.
Dude, fuck! What the fuck? This is blatant. This is like blatant just telling the American people like, hey, we should go to just grinds my it's like, you know when like something annoys you, someone annoys you, like you're because it gives you like, it makes you feel like oh, I just want, you know, like that. I feel like right now, slimy ass dude, bro. These fucking neocons, all fucking Trump people. I'm gonna get back to this, but here's one Trump supporter, Mark Dice. And here's the thing about conservatives. Here's the thing about conservatives. They love talking about like trans people and yeah, there are valid reasons to talk about trans people. Like, for example, they're trying to change our language and manipulative and all this shit. And there's valid reasons for that. But Mark Dice, he's a good guy, genuinely. Like, he has good intentions and he opposes Israel. But his problem is he's always at the Donald Trump. He's always, you know, he will never criticize Trump. He has 2 million fucking followers on YouTube. I've been watching him for 10 years. Criticizes Trump because his brand was kind of made from Trump, but he won't point out the fact like, hey, I mean, he does criticize corporate conservative. He will never call out Trump, be like, hey, Trump, you should stand up to Israel. He never does that. You know, he does it, but I hope one day he has the courage to do that. That'd be fucking badass. Back to this dude.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, how significant is it?
Listen again to what he says.
That the IDF, Israeli Defense Certificate.
Iran thinking for all of the engineers, all the people involved in this to really set back this program. But if they can't do it alone, I think we need to realize the United States, I mean, Iran thinks they've been fighting us since 1979. It might be time we get around to recognizing that fact.
Look at that on his face, dude. Ah, God, I hate these people.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, how significant is it that the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces headquarters, was hit? And I'm surprised that Iran was able to hit it.
I don't think it's a surprise, Laura, because the war that is upon us now is unlike anything that we've seen before. Israel is doing decapitation strikes against the very senior-most military leadership in Iran, and it stands to reason that the mullahs are going to respond with aggressive moves of their own. Now, it's clear that Israel is about the best in the business when it comes to missile defense. The success rate that Israeli defenders have in shooting down drones or cruise missiles or...
Here's the thing, dude, about Israel. They're such a liability to America. They don't benefit us in any way. 9/11 was because of Israel. All right, all the fucking terror attacks that happen against us are because of Israel, because the terrorists know who funds Israel is the American taxpayers. But dude, it's not us, it's AIPAC. It's our occupiers. It's our overlords who wear the small hats who occupy us, dude. Israel, they throw like rockets at Iran attacks them back, and we have to protect Israel. Our tax dollars, my paycheck has to have deductions so fucking Israel can launch missiles and be attacked back and be protected. Israel is literally the fucking kid that like attacks someone, and then when they attack back, they start crying and demanding that the other person gets in trouble. And you know, God, there's such a liability. We're always told Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. What did my dad, dude? He died, but like I used to ask him that question when he was always at Israel, always like do the Israel, like he would blow Israel. Well, it's more like this. He would suck Israel off, and I asked like what do they do for us? He'd say, oh, they provide us intelligence, and I'm like, what? God, they always bring up they're like, oh, they provide us with intelligence. I'm like, so our factories are producing money, which goes to Israel to go back to America to weapons from our factories to first off, weapons factories shouldn't even exist, dude. That's a whole nother topic, but let me continue playing this.
Ballistic missiles, I think it's in the 90% range, but 90% is not 100%, and no system is. And inevitably, some of these weapons are going to get through. Unfortunately, we saw the results of that math, that grim math, play out earlier today with attacks on civilian population in Tel Aviv, and also on the military headquarters tonight.
Christian, the Washington Post tonight is about how Trump came into office, promised to be a peacemaker. Of course, it's kind of nasty. But it said,
look at his face, dude.
President Trump swept into office vowing to end wars around the world. But his efforts to strike a nuclear deal with Iran appear to have spurred Israel to start a new one. And U.S. military on Friday helped shoot down Iranian missiles headed toward Israeli territory. Obviously, it's a slam on the Trump administration's peacemaking capabilities. Is that a fair criticism right in the beginning of this conflict? Because, you know, this ultimately does sadly get politicized, but that's where we're already headed at 7:15 Eastern time.
Yeah, that's very typical. I think Trump-deranged fake news media, the Washington Post, which used to be such an icon of just turned into a political tabloid with no sources in the administration, and it's getting this completely wrong. Iran is the aggressor here. Iran has a uranium project. They're the ones who created this nuclear weapons program, brought us to the precipice, and they're killing Americans. It's their fault, not Trump's.
Well, and I would say President Trump has been extending essentially something of an olive branch to Iran, saying, oh, come on, let's get back to greatness, your own greatness, work with us, it can be okay. But they didn't want to do that. So, and he said you still can find peace. They don't seem to want to do that at all. Christian and Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click.
All right, unless another Fox News video pops up that I want to watch, I might end this.
Tesla is finished. Elon has failed. That is what they want you to believe. But tech expert Jeff.
Senator Markwayne Mullin, Republican, Oklahoma, joins me now. Mr. Senator, what should America's position be in this?
We should give Israel all the support they need as far as for weaponry, and at the same time make it very clear to the Iranian regime, if they harm one hair of an American or American asset, if they try to destroy it, we go after them with the full force. President Trump.
I talked about this earlier. It makes no sense if an American is in Israel and gets killed. Why the fuck should all Americans suddenly have to stop what they're doing and fucking attack the killed them? It's retarded. But these are what these Zionist neocon motherfuckers, they just need war. They just need war.
Has made it very clear we're not in this fight, although we will support the same time we didn't participate in the fight. But if you come after us, if you try to against us, we will put the full might of the military behind you. What the Iranians need to know is that this isn't the Biden administration. This is President Trump. He does not bluff. He has made it very clear that he tried to talk with them. He wanted to hopefully normalize relationships through diplomacy. They chose to speak tough. They chose to go to the streets and chant death to America and death to Israelis. This is the result to their chanting. It shows, though, honestly, Stuart, how weak the Iranian regime is. Remember, the last fought a war was when they tried to go into Iraq, and that didn't end well, and drastically weakened.
Some MAGA Republicans don't like it. Some MAGA Republicans.
This is interesting right here. Listen to what Lou Phillips, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, gonna say.
Some MAGA Republicans don't like and don't want to support Israel because they don't want a forever war. I take it you oppose that point of view. So let me go a bit further.
Well, no, Stuart, let me respond to that real quick. I don't want a forever war, and we won't forever war with President Trump. Remember, President Trump was the one that was out with a strategic plan to pull us out of Afghanistan. It was Biden who destroyed that plan and had a disastrous withdrawal. If we can clarify what victory is before we start the fight.
Dude, this is just like George Bush. George Bush 3 band. This is like I remember, dude. Like 2 years ago, I was with videos about the Iran and whatnot. I remember they were always like they were interviewing all these people, and they were talking about how it would be they would attack they would do a clear attack, be a clear. They would do it decisively, and that's literally what these said. And like I watched this video and what this fucking gear is saying right now is exactly what the fucking Bush people were saying, basically.
Which I believe President Trump understands what that is. It's knocking out their nuclear ability. They will never, he's been very clear, they will never have a nuclear weapon. If we know that going into this fight, then we will destroy their ability to have a nuclear weapon, and it'll be shock and awe. We'll get in and get out. It will not be a forever war, but we'll be protecting our interests and our American people home and abroad.
Axios reports that the U.S. is concerned that Iran's response to the Israeli strikes could be a mass casualty event. They suggest that an all-out attack by Iran on Israel could kill a lot of people. Senator, do you think Iran is in any position to launch a large-scale and deadly attack on Israel?
No, they're not going to commit troops because it's nearly impossible for them to get troops there. They're going to try to fight covert, which I believe they probably had the ability to do some of that. That's why Israelis and their leadership through Bibi has made it very clear that people need to be alert. They've alerted, they closed the schools today. They closed down the airspace.
Just talk real quick about why people, fucking Republicans, support Israel. Like this dude right here. This dude looks a lot like, and he's probably roughly the same age as the Oklahoma governor. I don't know who this dude is. I don't know what his title is. Bibles in school guy. Who is this dude? This guy right here. Oklahoma State Superintendent. Anyways, he looks roughly the same age as Ryan Walters, this motherfucker right here. He looks roughly the same age. I'm gonna guess he's about 2 years older. I'm assuming this dude was born 1983. What's this guy's name? Mark. I'm assuming this dude was born 1983. Mark. Let me look him up now. Mark Wayne Mullen. 77. Wow. I was probably a bit lenient when I said. Oh, he does look like I'll be honest. He looks younger than, but it might be the beard. What's so interesting, bro? Is like beards are coming back. You know, I can't grow a beard because I got like beta male genetics, but beards are certainly coming back. I mean, every in the 80s has a beard. Like, it's weird. This guy's got a beard. This guy's got like, who else? JD Vance. He's got a beard. Everyone had a beard. The 80s. Dudes born in the 80s have beards. That's the generation that like brought back beards or whatever. I don't know. Because Bush was born in the 40s. You know, he doesn't have a beard. You will seldomly find anyone born in the 40s that has a beard. I'm sorry, I'm diverging. Go back to topic, bro.
At the same time, who controls that airspace right now? They control the airspace, meaning Israel controls the.
But anyways, what I was saying was the reason why these people support Israel, and you can tell because his accent. The reason they support Israel is because they're Christian, and the Bible says that like Israel is like the Jews are like God's chosen people, and all the non-Jews, it's our job to like suck them off and whatnot. And that's why that dude supports Israel. It's idiots like this dude who vote for pro people like Ben Shapiro, this little slimy dude, this little Ben Shapiro. Like, I just want to like in Minecraft. But yeah, dude, I hate Americans, dude. Like most Americans are waking up because Israel is not our. They attacked the USS Liberty. They're not our ally. They are an enemy state.
Airspace. The Iranians have lost control of their own sky, so it's going to be very difficult for them to launch any massive war through land, but they might be able to do it, or they will be able to do it through some covert operations.
So, Mark Wayne Mullen, very much for being here today.
Yeah, he's not going to talk more about America, but yeah, anyways, I'm getting tired of ending this video, but yeah, dude, it's just interesting how Fox News is trying to like, you know, it's just, we're reliving history. I mean, I hope Trump does not, I hope he has the stand up to Israel and just say, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to. He's obviously not going to cut off aid, which would be fucking badass as shit, but he's not going to do that. But it would be nice to see him just not have troops on the ground. Let's not invade Iran. Let's not do that, please. Because this is a very historical, momentous moment right now. I mean, it's so similar to the Iraq invasion, the precursor to this. Crazy. It's just so similar to that. But in this